On this day, back in 1973, the legendary Battle of the Sexes tennis match pitted female player Billie Jean King against her male rival, Bobby Riggs. Now, this came at a time when the push for respect and equal rights for women was hitting a fever pitch. So much was riding on this game. Well, now that infamous tennis match has inspired a movie starring Emma Stone and Steve Carell. The film also stars Austin Stowell as Billie Jean King's husband, Larry King. We recently sat down with the star and learned a little bit more about the movie.
It's Bobby Riggs.
Bobby? How'd you get my number?
Called every hotel in San Diego. Listen, I had a great idea.
Okay. Well, it's after midnight, Bobby, so can we talk another time?
You and me, Billie Jean. 3 sets, 5 sets, your choice.
Are you drunk, Bobby?
No, of course not. How about this? Man versus woman. Male chauvinist pig versus hairy-legged feminist. No offense. You're still a feminist, right?
You play in this movie the other man in Billie Jean King's life. This is the one who's supporting her husband, Larry. Tell me about his character, because he wasn't really well known before this movie.
They met in college while they were playing tennis together, and Larry is what I think is one of the unsung heroes of the movie. You know, this is a man who was completely in love with this woman, as she is in love with him. You know, there's such an understanding and a respect between the two of them, and they were such a duo for so many years. I mean, even after her revelation about her sexuality and coming out, you know, they're really a team. They built World Team Tennis together, something that they still work together on to this day.
Has he seen your portrayal of him?
He is not. Yeah.
Are you nervous about that?
I wouldn't say nervous. I'm anxious. You know, of course I want him to like the movie, and I don't want him to be disappointed. Of course, when you portray someone in real life, the last thing you ever want to do is a disservice to them. And what I got from Larry is that he was doing whatever he could to try and build up this person in order to create a social change. You know, he saw Billie Jean as somebody that could be the face of change in terms of Title IX and equality for women and for pay in sports as well as everything else across the board. This is a man who's, you know, a really forward thinker, somebody who in 1973 was not the norm. As you see in the movie, there's all kinds of things that these men are saying.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love women in the bedroom and in the kitchen. But these days, they want to be everywhere. They want to be doing everything. Where is it going to end? Pretty soon, us fellas aren't going to be able to go to a ball game. We're not going to be able to go fishing. We're not going to be able to stop and have a drink after work. And that's what this whole women's lib thing is about. And it's got to stop. And Bobby Riggs is the man to stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Custer's last stand. This is the lobber versus the lever.
Keep talking, Bobby. The more nonsense you spout, the worse it's going to be when you lose.
You really see the support of his relationship in the scene where it is the final match. Mm-hmm. And it's not even just that he's in love with her, he's nervous for her. He really believes in her and what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that match was everything, you know, in terms of what they were fighting for at the time, and what a setback that would have been in terms of the work that they had done on Title IX at that point. And because if she loses that match, people write her off, they write women off, and it would have been a huge step back as opposed to, you know, let's be honest, the little step forward, because even today we're still dealing with these same issues.
Pay equity is still an issue for women in sport.
What pressure that she must have been feeling, and of course he was so close to her that there's no way that he wasn't feeling that as well. That his heart must have been jumping out of his chest watching every single point go by until she had that match well under control.
Starting early.
Oh, well, you know what they say. It's never too early for champagne.
My kind of girl. You here for the tennis?
I sure am.
Me too. I think Billie Jean's gonna take it.
Oh, are you a fan?
You could say that.
You are a sports fan.
Huge.
You enjoy watching tennis. You've had a chance to watch tennis with Billie Jean King.
I have.
What's that like?
Several times. It's great. It's an inside look into the game. I knew enough about the game. My brother's a brilliant tennis player, so I know enough about the technique and what is going on in a player's mind, but she takes that to a whole new level in terms of a professional level, what they're trying to accomplish, you know, not just in that point, but in the long run of what their strategy might be in that game, and she lets me in on little clues in terms of also cutting off angles and things like that, where it's much more enjoyable now to watch it because you're getting so much more into the players' heads and what's going on there.
It's a fantastic film. The timing of it seems so appropriate. We are still having this conversation about pay equity and women in sport.
Yeah, it's incredibly relevant.
What are your thoughts on that? Because it's an issue not just in sport, it's an issue in Hollywood too.
I know this much. I go to the movies just as much for Emma Stone as I do for Steve Carell, so why shouldn't they get paid the same?
Oh, that's a good way to end this interview. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Pleasure.